This is the Government Week in Review for the week ending Friday, November 24th, 2023. I am Chrisanne Mitchell. In the headlines, International Monetary Fund says Grenada's economy continues to show robust growth. Details to this story and more after the break.
Old Grenada, New Grenada, One Grenada. We get set for the Camahorn Folk Festival 2023. 3 days of song, drums, music, and everything else that defines us as a people. December 8th to the 10th, 3 days of fun-filled activities such as bus terminal. We're kicking off on day 1, December 8th, with the opening ceremony, Flambeau March, and a host of cultural items. Day 2, Saturday the 9th, it's all day. We start with breakfast from 6 a.m., beach activities, traditional mass, music night, featuring some of the Caribbean's legend, Lord Nelson, along with Pink Panther, Boise, Woodsman Kelly, Lady Cinti, and more. Then on day 3, Sunday, December 10th, it's Folk Night, as we welcome La Catco Dance Company from Jamaica, traditional drumming, school for choir, folk dancing, and don't forget, embedded into the Camahorn Folk Festival on Saturday and Sunday, the Buy Local Expo, organized by the Ministry of Trade. So grab your friends, the entire family, and head on to the Sutter's Bus Terminal for the Camahorn Folk Festival 2023. Brought to you by the Ministry of Education, Youth, Sports and Culture. Follow us on social media for more info.
Welcome back. The International Monetary Fund says Grenada's economy continues to grow robustly and is expected to surpass its pre-pandemic level in 2023. The IMF issued a statement following its recent mission to Grenada. The mission team, led by Mr. Jane Hooker, met with the authorities to discuss recent economic developments and follow up on the policy priorities raised during the 2023 Article 4 consultation. Mr. Hooker also said that growth has been driven by continued strength in construction and a sustained increase in tourist arrivals, in part due to successful efforts to improve airlift. He added that record revenues from the Citizenship by Investment program have supported both public and private investment, and at the same time, headline inflation remains low. The report also stated that the near-term fiscal outlook has improved with recent strong revenue performance, and this reflects the buoyant economic activity as well as a surge in the government CBI revenue, which is anticipated to normalize after the current backlog of CBI applications is cleared. The report also noted that the Grenadian financial sector remains stable and liquid, and bank credit growth has increased with greater demand for construction and durable consumer goods loans. Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell says the recent inaugural CARICOM Saudi Arabia Summit in Saudi Arabia will create some direct positive impacts for Grenada. Speaking at a press conference during the week, Prime Minister Mitchell said the engagement with the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia was deep and fruitful, and his delegation was also fortunate to engage in several bilateral engagements with senior members of the Saudi Arabian government.
The first was with the Minister of Investment. We held also with the Minister for Environment and Agriculture, the Minister for Transport and Logistics, and the Minister for Health. The team accompanying me, which included the Minister for Foreign Affairs, the Deputy Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Finance, the Consul General of Grenada in Dubai, and 3 advisors, had the opportunity to tour 3 hospitals in Saudi Arabia. 1 hospital operated by InterHealth Canada, the 2nd hospital being the King Saud Hospital, and the 3rd and perhaps most interesting hospital was the Saudi Arabian Virtual Hospital.
Prime Minister Mitchell says the visits have resulted in very fruitful engagements where Grenada stands to benefit.
In each of the cases where we met with the respective ministers, we have on offer from them deeper cooperation. We intend to exchange and sign off on memorandums of understanding or technical cooperation, particularly to allow for technical teams from Grenada to visit the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia so that we can have further conversations in relation to policy, guidance, advice, potential investment, as well as the opportunity for trading, technology exchange, and information. So in the case of the Ministry of Health, the Minister has offered to host a technical team from Grenada as soon as we are ready, backing the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, so that we can explore further the possibility of collaborating with them in relation to the virtual hospital and how they have been able to use it as a tool to enhance service delivery to the citizens of Saudi Arabia.
Prime Minister Mitchell also shared on his meeting with Member of Parliament in the UK, Minister David Rutley, who is responsible for the Americas and the Caribbean. They discussed issues of mutual importance on a bilateral basis between Grenada and the United Kingdom.
They included, for example, the UK SIF program. The UK SIF program is the UK's grant funding program. And as you may be aware, that was the program by which Grenada had the opportunity to get grant funding for the Western Main Road, as well as the Southern Water Management Project. You may recall that there was quite a lot of talk about that funding being lost. The part of the funding that was lost was in relation to the Western Main Road, and we have secured the funding in relation to the Southern Water Project. That project is expected to commence in earnest shortly. The project is designed essentially to bring water to the southern part of the island by removing or replacing the old pipe infrastructure that currently exists with new ones. It should start more or less from the Sendell Tunnel and extend all the way down to the Grand Dance area. So we wanted to take the opportunity to thank the UK government for its support in that regard.
Following his recent visit to the People's Republic of China, the UN mission, and the inaugural Canada CARICOM summit between the months of August to November, Minister for Foreign Affairs, Trade and Export Development, Honorable Joseph Andal, says that there are benefits for the country. Honorable Andal made the statements while updating the nation during a government press conference at the Houses of Parliament on Thursday. Honorable Andal says while in the People's Republic of China, the National Agency for International Development and Cooperation gave him an audience where health was the main focus.
With our proposed teaching hospital being high on the agenda, China is willing to provide technical and financial support, whether it be in the form of concessionary financing or grant or a combination of thereof, towards our teaching hospital upon submission of proposals to them. They're also quite keen to assist in the training of doctors, nurses, and other healthcare professionals, considering that having a building is not sufficient to say that you have a teaching hospital.
At the inaugural Canada CARICOM Summit, October 17 to 19 in Ottawa, the main focus was on trade and investments in sectors such as financial services, clean technology, ICT, and the management of natural resources. The issue of climate change, job creation, regional security, and suspension of debt repayment after natural disasters, Honorable Andal says, also took up a significant part of the meeting.
To that end, they are going to make available 64.5 million Canadian dollars in funding for climate mitigation and economic growth. They've also agreed to provide $10 million for resilient agriculture systems.
At the bilateral level, the Grenada delegation was able to hold talks with the Minister of Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship, Mr. Mark Miller. The focus of the discussion being the possibility of visa-free travel for Grenadian nationals.
We pressed for that, and they have agreed to establish technical teams on our end and their end to conduct the negotiations, which hopefully will lead to the elimination of the visa requirement for Grenadian citizens wishful of traveling to Canada. We also made an appeal for on-island processing of visa applications, because as we all know, it is quite expensive and inconvenient to have to travel to neighboring islands to complete the application process and to do the biometrics. And we also have asked that the visits for biometrics be done more frequently pending a resolution of the visa issue.
The government of Grenada has announced the successful refinancing of approximately 5 million of debt owed by the MNIB to a local commercial bank. The terms of the new arrangement include consolidating all outstanding principal balances of debts owed by the MNIB at an interest rate of 4.0% to be repaid over a period of 10 years and an interest-free loan for all outstanding interest to date to be repaid over 10 years. The terms represent a significant improvement compared with the previous conditions applied to the MNIB facilities at the bank. Specifically, the current interest rate stands at 6.5% and 7%. This major accomplishment not only halts a further accumulation of arrears, but also strengthens government's ability to successfully reform the MNIB by removing the lien on the Pack House property located at River Road, St. George. Furthermore, the Cabinet has approved the payment of all outstanding claims to unsecured creditors, including farmers and agro-processors, to the tune of 2.5 million. The Ministry of Finance is working diligently to conclude all payments to unsecured creditors by December 1st, 2023. This is the Government Week in Review. When we return, all hands on deck to ensure a successful hosting of Carafta Games in Grenada next year.
Your new GRENLEC bill is even easier to read and still has all the valuable information you need to track and manage your usage.
Hey Mom, okay, your friendly tech support is here. So you got the new GRENLEC bill? Let's take a look. The new bill makes it even easier to see your bill total, the due date, and much more. And take a closer look. It actually is a lot easier to understand. Let me show you. You can still see exactly what the charges are for, but in a great new format, it even shows how the cost of generating and delivering the electricity to you is calculated using your actual usage. Anyway, look who says hi, and see you soon.
Your new GRENLEC bill, easier to understand and easier to track your usage.
Many people, one region. Celebrating athletics is a theme under which the 51st Carafta Games was officially launched during a ceremony at the Olympic House, Montrouge, on Wednesday. The games are scheduled to take place at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium from March 30th to April 1st, 2024. Sports Minister Honorable Ron Redhead believes the games will give exposure to the best youth athletes in track and field events throughout the region.
Carafta 2024 pledges to be a spectacular event as the world observes the talents and youthful vigor of our Caribbean athletes on the international stage. The Games in its history have long been a hotbed for some of the Caribbean's most iconic athletes, including Usain Bolt, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, and our very own Kirani James and Aline Francie, just to name a few. It is therefore an honor for Grenada to host, particularly next year, as we celebrate our 50th independence anniversary and look forward to making next year's Games an unforgettable experience of celebration of Caribbean talent, culture, and the spirit of camaraderie as we extend a very warm Grenadian welcome to athletes, coaches, and sports enthusiasts from across the Caribbean as Grenada becomes the center and focus in the region for track and field in 2024.
Conran Francis, president of the Grenada Athletic Association, says the lessons learned from staging the Games in 2000 and 2016 will ensure Grenada displays high standards in 2024.
Since its inception, Grenada have been winning medals at each Games consistently. And we hosted these Games in 2000 and 2016. So this is our third attempt in hosting the Games. Today, we are delighted to share with you our state of readiness in hosting Carafta 2024. And to give you a peek into our journey, we also take this opportunity to appeal to all potential sponsors to come on board as we prepare to make these Games an unforgettable experience.
Prior to affixing his signature to the Memorandum of Understanding between the North American Central Caribbean and Caribbean Athletic Association, NACAC, and the Grenada Athletics Association, President of NACAC, Mike Sands, expressed his immense joy to be a part of the official launch.
The Whitsuntide Games is archived as one of the Caribbean's premier track and field competition, giving an early start to many who have gone on to become world and Olympic champions, such as Alain Francisque, of course, and Karani James. You hosted the Carifta Games for the first time in 2000. 2 years later, you hosted the Central American and Caribbean Senior Championships. You were scheduled to host the Carifta Games for a second time in 2005. Unfortunately, Ivan devastated your country a few months before the 2004 Games. Yet you bounced back and hosted the Carifta in 2016. Here we are once again, next April, less than 160 days away. The entire Carifta family will descend upon Grenada and will be toasted to your splendid culture in all its glory. Yet again, we will be able to host with your warm friendship and generous hospitality. Importantly, your sport-loving family and loving people will fill the stands, giving support to every athlete and urging all to succeed.
Chair of the local organizing committee, Vida Bruno Victor, spoke to the importance of the support of Corporate Grenada. She said government alone cannot finance the Carifta Games.
The work is hard. The time is short. But my committee is prepared for this challenge. 50 years as an independent nation means a lot to our people. So as we celebrate our 50th anniversary of independence and our 51st anniversary of the Carifta Games, we invite the sports-loving people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, and the whole Caribbean to start preparing to pack the stadium over the 3 days of 2024, March 30th, 31st, and April 1st.
The official theme, mascot, and logo for the Games were all officially revealed to the general public during the launch. In related news, with the official launch of the 51st Carifta Games in Grenada, March 30th to April 1st, 2024, the local organizing committee has announced that tickets are now on sale. Claudia Alexis, chair of the finance committee, explained the different tiers of tickets, costs, and outlets where sports fans can visit to make a purchase.
You can go on Go to Fet, would be our main venue. The Grenadian Optical, they have also graciously agreed to sell tickets on our behalf. Now the prices are for the main pavilion, a daily price of $40 and a season ticket of $110. We have the secondary pavilion, which would be $30 and a season ticket of $80. We also have within the main pavilion, there's an area, two areas, the finish line lower and the finish line upper. Lower finish line is $100 and upper $75. The bleachers would be $20 with a season ticket of $55. The secondary pavilion, I think I said that already, $30 with a season ticket of $80.
As the Games is a whole-day event, Ms. Alexis says the LOC has decided not to duplicate the tickets into sessions.
The event takes place for the whole day, am I correct? So that instead of buying a ticket for the morning session and for the afternoon session, we decided to sell one ticket. So the option is yours to go in the morning and spend the entire day. Or you can go in the morning and leave. We're going to make arrangements for persons who have to leave and come back and return. there would also be tickets sold at the gate, and that's for persons who, the persons who make up their mind the day before or the morning of the event. We'll have a limited amount of tickets. Now, all of that depends on whether there are tickets left after the Go to Fed sales and the Grenadian optical sales. So our advice is to go quickly and get your tickets.
Work will begin early in the new year to construct a new building for the Grenada Christian Academy Secondary School. Details in this report by Annette Moore.
Wednesday, November 22nd, marked a historic and positive milestone in the life of the Grenada Christian Academy Secondary School located at Pearl St. Andrew, as the Ministry of Education signed a $27.4 million contract to begin construction of a new school facility during a short ceremony at the ministerial complex in Tentine.
All smiles, man. That's nice, man. I've never seen a happy place like that.
I'm happy for the new students that are going to experience the building, and like I said before, kind of jealous I didn't get to experience it.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Elvis Moraine, spoke on this latest success.
We need everyone on board, so it's good this morning we have procurement, we have MIT would help with the monitoring, we have the contractor, we have the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Infrastructure. We have had excellent relationship for the last few months trying to get things going. Yes, and we look forward to the start-telling ceremony in maybe a matter of days, or a couple of weeks, maybe to that, right?
The contractor winning the bid is Key Chinona and Sunrise Construction JV Incorporated.
Pulling our resources together and winning this bid is really a tremendous achievement, not only for our companies, but the employees that we have currently and those we will employ from the area of Pearls. At the maximum point, there will be at least 150 to 175 people employed on that job. That include direct labor, that include subcontractors, and that would include support services from suppliers. We have worked on quite a few schools in Grenada. Matter of fact, we are just concluding the refurbishment of 9 schools. Yeah, so starting this on virgin territory and building this brand new, this is a serious challenge and is one that falls right within, our capabilities and our capacity.
Work is expected to begin early in January 2024, and the school should be completed in 16 months. Luke Braffett, Chief Operating Officer and Quantity Surveyor with the contractor, provided details.
The scope of works would include the complete construction of of 4 new buildings, 3-story buildings, to house, I believe it's 11 classrooms, a number of multi-purpose rooms, laboratories, sanitary facilities, and staff facilities, inclusive of external work, so parking areas, drainage, I believe a basketball court, and other exterior facilities for the students. Something unique about this school in particular is the design calls for a lift, an elevator to access the 3 floors for disabled or students of that nature.
I'll be excited to experience the new environment and the clean air.
It's in Pearls, it's a new facility, it's a new community for us. We're very excited about going in there and sharing our professionalism, our skills, and our resources with the community, and as a result, achieving what we went in to achieve, to build a school that will benefit the whole of the community in that area.
It would be introducing a lot of infrastructure to that area, which paves the way for future development of that area.
Principal of the Grenada Christian Academy, Eversley George, is elated about the developments and noted current challenges.
So we have to divide the classrooms for teaching purposes, so 2 teachers teaching at the same time, very disruptive, because we don't have a separation and so forth. We have little or no technical subjects, and if we do have, like for example, the food and nutrition and the clothing and textile is in one room and it's not a food lab or so, we cannot teach really like the chemistry and the physics and so forth because we don't have labs for that, and a number of things that is really needed for this time.
President of the Grenada Christian Academy's Parent Teachers Association, Nicola Charles, says parents are looking forward to increased access to technical and vocational education and an improved learning environment.
It was a struggle for them, and now that we're finally at this stage, we're hopeful and grateful, and we look forward to great things.
The school currently houses 130 students, 85 males and 45 females, but the new facility can accommodate 500 students.
Our theme for this year, you're bridging the gap between the home, the community, and the school. I think with that project, the community will also have development, maybe they fix the roads, buses, people will get work, and a number of things will happen.
Roxanne Lessie has been teaching at the Grenada Christian Academy for 10 years.
Today is like a bittersweet moment. I'm very excited, I must say, to actually witness the finalization of the new school, because we've been hearing constantly that it's in the budget, it's coming, and we never really see any solid step towards establishing the new school. So witnessing this here today personally, it's a defining moment for me.
Leslie believes the new school will improve both staff and student morale. Sports coordinator and physical education teacher Jason Harrow looks forward to eliminating the long walk to the Pearls playing field for physical education, which he says reduces student-teacher contact time.
Also, having this new facility now will open up an avenue also because the school will be larger, we'll have more students, and our school is also on the uprise in sports, so we want more of our students to be more physically active and also participate in the different sporting disciplines.
Minister for Education, Senator the Honorable David Andrew, expressed optimism at being able to start construction, citing the positive economic impact it will have on the Pearls community.
The journey of that school is its own story of inspiration, and where it's come from, where it was born, the condition of the facilities and the need for expansion, and the impact that the construction of that school is likely to bring to that community is something that I think inspires me, and I'm delighted to be associated with it.
Other schools scheduled to be constructed include the St. Andrew's Anglican Primary School in Grenville and the St. David's Catholic Secondary School, which will be relocated to Malmount St. David.
Ready to build.
For the GIS Week in Review, I'm Annette Moore.
We take another break. Still to come, Grenada hosts First Heat Threshold Symposium.
Prepare for hurricane. Prepare for hurricane. Make sure you have your radio and your batteries too. Waterproof flashlight candles will do. Tin stuff, garbage bag, first aid kit. Come on people, make sure you have it. Clean water in a container and a hurricane plan. Hear me no man.
Hurricane damage is beyond your control. Surviving the aftermath is up to you. Have a hurricane plan. It can save your life and your family too.
Prepare for hurricane. Your hair, prepare for hurricane.
Welcome back. In a proactive move to safeguard public health, Grenada will seek to establish a heat threshold to guide decision-making during periods of extreme heat. A symposium was held on November 21st involving participants from the Ministry of Health, Social Development, Grenada Airports Authority, public health personnel, and other relevant stakeholders to review Grenada's heat thresholds and health data. It was hosted by the climate change and health leader, Dr. Naomi Winchester, in partnership with the Windward Islands Research and Education Foundation, WINDREF. This symposium creates an opportunity for Grenadians to consider and develop an affirmative national response to extreme heat.
Grenada is 12 degrees north of the equator, which increases its vulnerability to heat or excessive heat, which is a risk factor for many, many diseases and many climate-related health threats. So this issue has created a challenge not only for Grenada, many countries in the world, especially your small island developing states. So I do not have all the answers today, which is why I've invited all of you here today to create history, to participate in Grenada's first Heat Threshold Development Symposium, to render your valuable expertise and experience to address this very complex issue of significant importance, which supports the development of the first policy of its kind which would address these heat thresholds.
A heat health study held in Grenada and commissioned by the Pan American Health Organization showed a relation to mortality, hospital admissions, and emergency room visits. Dr. Lindoni Telesford, Associate Professor and Assistant Dean at SU, was a guest on GBN's program, Our Climate Reality, speaking extensively on the recent study.
Here we're looking at how or what evidence is there to support the establishment of thresholds, limits that should trigger some kind of action or adaptation in the population. So in essence, that is what PAHO wanted to test. So we looked at several meteorological conditions and sought to determine which ones had effects on the body. So we tested temperature, relative humidity, vapor pressure. We also looked at wind speed, what is called wet bulb globe temperature, and heat index. Now, the two indices that we found to be of significance were heat index and temperature.
Speaking on behalf of the Chief Medical Officer was Danraj Ramkelawan, Environmental Health Officer in the Ministry of Health. He said the Heat Index project can aid in decision-making in an era of climate change.
As we enter this era of climate variability and change, we must get into the culture of utilizing scientific evidence and warnings on climate and weather advisories to protect ourselves from being victims of climate variability and change. This symposium serves as an adaptation strategy and an early warning system to build resilience among the local population to ensure that they are informed of a threat or risk to health.
The plan is to create a draft policy brief that will be presented to the Ministry of Health from the discussions and recommendations from the participants. The United Nations Children Fund, UNICEF, recently held 2 days of consultations with representatives from the Ministries of Education, Health and Wellness, and Religious Affairs, as well as Social and Community Development, Housing and Gender Affairs, parents, and others to work together to provide improved early childhood education to children. The consultations will be ongoing and will include the rest of the Eastern Caribbean, began officially in Grenada on November 14th at the Spice Island Beach Resort. The consultations will continue until the second half of 2024. Sorana Mitchell reports.
The focus of 2 days of official consultations was finding ways in which all the sectors involved could work together to bring about improved early childhood education to the children of Grenada. The consultations, which were sponsored by the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, began on November 14 at the Spice Island Beach Resort. Shelley-Ann Harper is the Early Childhood Development Specialist with UNICEF for the Eastern Caribbean, based in Barbados.
The research is saying that when the sectors work closer, when we are able to draw on each other, we're able to support each other, so that when we put the child in the center, together we can look to see what are the different aspects, what assistance does this child and family need, how can we make sure that they know where to get the assistance, and of course, how do we then provide whatever that intervention is. But we're saying instead of education trying to do something over here alone and health down here alone and social, can we pull together? Can we really make it, part of a united response so that, the child in the center is able to access whatever that child needs in its best interest.
Acting Deputy Chief Education Officer for Early Childhood Education in the Ministry of Education, Dr. Sharmin Christopher, says the integrated approach is necessary to meet the needs of all the nation's children.
And we do understand the need for sectors to collaborate, for all the sectors to collaborate so that our children can have success. We can meet the needs of our children. We can provide the various experiences that they need. So it involves all of the sectors, and it's an approach we want to take, that integrated approach, so that we can better support all our children. And when I say all of our children in Grenada.
Acting Inspector of Police attached to the Fire Department, Adrian Pantru, was representing the Green Street Pre-Primary School as a parent, but saw the importance of the role of the police in the integrated approach.
And as police officers, we play a critical part as it relates to security. And we have to continue ensuring that the children are safe, whether it be as simple as we have children out at the various zebra crossings and so forth to ensure that they get to school safe, but also the whole general aspect of keeping our children safe, being role models to our children. So as part of the RGPF, and whenever an issue comes up with children, especially when there's some criminal connotations with it, the police would be involved. So we have to ensure that we play our part, but not just so in the criminal aspect, but also in ensuring that the psychological effect that it would have on the children, we are able to manage it.
Galen Andrews is the principal at the Windsor Forest Preschool, and she wants parents to play a more significant role in their children's lives.
Walking around in my community, and when you look at the amount of young boys, especially in male, a lot of them, they drop out. And sometimes you wonder, late at night, you see them in the streets, and you're asking, do they have parents? What is their parents' role? So I think parents need to take more interest in guiding their children, not just leave it on to the school, because remember, we have to work as the school, the home, and the community, 3 in 1.
Harper says the consultations will extend to the first half of 2024.
This focus at the moment is on Grenada, but the consultations will run into, the first and second quarter of next year, because we will really try to reach as many stakeholders. We really want to hear what Grenadians feel are some of the challenges with early childhood and the quality of it. What are some of the, opportunities that we have to improve what we're already doing, and what are some of the priorities, as a nation. So the consultations will span, the period of early next year and into the second quarter, because we really want to make sure that people are having a chance, yes, to give feedback, to have their voices heard, and then, of course, we then look to see how do we develop a strategy coming out of what will be extensive consultation.
The over 50 participants at the consultations included parents, representatives from the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs, Ministry of Social and Community Development, Housing and Gender Affairs, and other sectors. Sarana Mitchell reporting.
I feel very elated to see that the sign being placed there. I know Northwest have a lot of great things coming for us, so I am very happy and pleased.
Positive sentiments expressed by St. George Northwest resident Camille Roberts McIntosh following the unveiling of a sign by Senator Jonathan Lecret and residents displaying photographs of a future outlook for the constituency of St. George Northwest. Senator Lecret says the decision to erect the sign was made following discussions with the executive arm of the NDC and the Northwest Village Council.
And I told the executive as well as the St. George Northwest Council that I think we should erect a sign that the people feel when they're entering into St. George Northwest. You can feel proud, you can feel happy, you can feel a sense of nostalgia. Entering into St. George Northwest, looking at the future of St. George Northwest. The irony about the billboard is that it has changed so many photos over the past 3 to 4 weeks. It's not funny because we had photos of the secondary school, the primary school, medical stations, etc. And it was kind of getting clustered. And we looked at the design over and over and we said, you know what? we want to put too much things on the billboard featuring various aspects of St. George Northwest. Maybe we should just look at the futuristic projects that we have for the constituency and feature that instead.
The sign, which depicts the infrastructural requirements of the constituency, was skillfully designed by Grand Mall resident Vernon Modeste.
On the billboard, you would recognize that there is a remodeled Boucherjou playing field. Because we do plan to remodel the playing field and make it a nice mini stadium for the people. You also have a modeled bus stop. It's a very unique model of bus stop. It's not the normal concrete bus stop that you would see. And if you go to Fountainoy when you're traveling up this afternoon, Sherry, and you would recognize that close to Miss Pamela's shop, you have 2 beams already erected. So the guys have already started working. They've cast those 2 beams. It's just for them to put the overhaul, the covering, the solar lighting, etc. So Fountainoy is going to be the pilot for the bus stops throughout St. George Northwest in the communities that need it. And because it's something that the community asked me for when I was doing the community meetings in Fountainoy, that they have no place to shelter. And I decided that this year I wanted to start that project and honor Fountainoy with the request that they made. Also, the second photo that you're seeing is Project Heal, helping the elderly achieve longevity. It's a project I believe that we launched in October, where we said we're going to be training 27 healthcare assistants throughout the constituency to provide basic clinical redress to persons over the age of 60. That project, well, the official social media launch is going to be on January 9th, I believe, somewhere there about 2024. And you're going to see the healthcare assistants showcased, etc. And they are going to start their training in January and provide those basic care for the elderly persons throughout the constituency who are suffering with chronic disease. The program is going to be a very robust one.
Plans are also in train to utilize solar lighting in dark areas within various communities in the constituency.
There are a number of areas throughout the constituency that are extremely dark still in various communities. Mothers with daughters, especially at Mount Melville in Fountainoy. That's the Dabo path you could pass to go over. Yes, Grand Mall has another area. Some people asked me to put some lighting there. New Hampshire. And as a result of that, we embarked on a solar lighting project. And we want to start erecting those solar lights. Actually, Top Road, Happy Hill is going to be the pilot. That road that we showcased today on our live on my Facebook page, when Nursey and the other residents live. When we're finished with the other 250 or 75 feet of concrete road, we're going to erect the solar lighting there first, and then we're going to propagate it throughout the other communities throughout the constituency. So I'm particularly pleased that these projects are coming to the constituency. My desire is to really raise the character of the constituency.
And finally, 12 individuals have successfully completed the Gender and Development Studies program, a collaborative initiative between the Government of Grenada, the University of the West Indies Global Campus Grenada site, and the Women and Development Unit, WAND. In a ceremony marking the completion of the program, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Social and Community Development, Housing and Gender Affairs, Ms. Veronica Charles, says the subject of gender is sparking conversations all over the globe, and as such, it is important to provide training for Grenadians.
Training is very integral as part of the development of gender in Grenada. We know that the whole issue of gender is fluid and it is creating a lot of noise. But how best can we educate our people except we do the training and development of the persons who are expected to lead in that regard. I'm very happy that participants were able to go through the entire process. In committing to this, for the very first time, the government of Grenada has included the name gender as part of the ministry. Over the years we had women affairs and so, but it's different, a different era we are living in. So we are very inclusive. So gender is included as part of the name of the ministry and it stands out.
Head of UE Grenada site, Dr. Nicole Philip Dow, is happy that the university can partner with the government of Grenada and others to facilitate the course.
Projects such as these are part of UWI's mandate to facilitate lifelong learning and life-changing learning throughout our communities. Students participated in 2 courses, or 1 course as the case may be. Gender analysis for development professionals and/or gender and inclusive planning for development professionals. UWI wishes to thank the Government of Grenada through the ministry for partnering with us, and we look forward to more collaboration. So ladies and gentlemen, we expect to see you at UE again in other capacities. We wish to congratulate our participants in achieving these certificates, and it is a way of you saying that you wish to be part of life-changing and lifelong learning.
SIOP's program manager, Dr. Stephen Fletcher, said the course outline captures a range of topics that can benefit Grenada in the development of plans and policies.
As we evolve as a society, as a country, and as a people, it's important that we focus and give space to everyone that are able to make a contribution to the development of society. Courses of this nature provide the opportunity for society to identify its resources, its human capital, its human resources, its people, and so allow for the planning of the society in a way that we have not done before. So whether it's in economic spheres, community, and so on, is critical.
That story brings us to the end of the Week in Review for the week ending Friday, November 24, 2023. I am Kristen Mitchell. Thank you for viewing.